In this series of videos, we're going to explore the step-by-step guide to starting a high-performance business. What is the step-by-step guide towards starting a high-performance business? Hi there, my name is Bumi Tokan. In this first video, I'm going to give you steps 1 and 2. So, what is the first step? Exactly, start. Somebody says to start a business, start a business. It's true. Many people want to start in business, but do not take the first step because they discover there's some information they don't know. Maybe they don't know about sales that much, or they don't know about marketing that well, or they're not sure what social media they're going to use. So instead of starting or taking the first step, they just simply stop and do nothing. Your first step could be making a phone call to a friend. Your first step could be reading an article, attending a seminar. Your first step could be reading a book. Your first step could be just sit through this 4 or 5 minutes video and watch it right the way through. That's the first step towards starting your business. Your first step could be writing down your idea. Whatever the step is that takes you towards your goal of having your own business, you've got to take that step and you've got to do it now. Don't do it tomorrow, do it now. Write down that idea, call a friend, read that article, do whatever it takes, but take the first step. That's the most important thing to do. All right. The second step to take is to that's right, choose a niche and a problem to solve. What do I mean by choosing a niche? Let's say you are a mechanic, okay? And you also design websites. So you're a mechanic in the daytime and you want to start your own part-time business of designing websites. Your niche could actually be to mechanics because you already are familiar with that group of people. You already know the problems they have and you already know the kinds of websites that is going to work for them. So your niche could be mechanics. Not everybody, though the average person wants a website, but you're not going to try to sell your website to every single person, but to fashion, music, carpenters and cleaners and pool cleaners. No, you're going to stick to mechanics, and that's the niche. But that's not all. To further delve deep into that niche, it could be you are going to sell your website design ideas to mechanics based in a particular location, or that have a particular turnover, or that have a particular number of employees, or that repair particular type of cars. That could be the niche you're going for. So you're going to go for mechanics that repair Range Rovers. That's because that's what I like. You're going to go for mechanics that repair maybe Mercedes or Fords or whatever. So you're going to go for that. That's a niche, because in the beginning you don't have the resources to sell your products to every single person. You may end up selling websites design to everybody under the sun, but in the beginning you're going to choose a niche. The second thing is knowing the problem to solve. Because you've chosen a niche, it's easier for you to figure out, talk to, find out what problems they have as far as web design is concerned, or the type of websites they want, or why they haven't had a website, or whatever the problem is. You're only going to be able to do that successfully because you have a niche. So let's recap. 2 things to starting a high performance business. Number 1, get started. Yeah, that's right. Start. Number 2, choose a niche. And number 3, choose a problem you're going to solve. Somebody says, choose a problem worth solving. All right. I'll see you when we come back with step 3. See you soon. Welcome back. We're now in step 3. But previously in step 1 and 2, we talked about starting. Then we said it was important to choose a niche and a problem worth solving. Now we're in step 3. And step 3 is all about testing your product or your idea with your market, with your niche. To do that, you need to build a basic product, some kind of outline, a menu, some physical product or a PDF document or some slides that you can use to make a presentation depending on the type of product or service that you are offering. But what you want to consider is getting them to use it and also to give you some kind of feedback about the product or service that you are trying to launch into the market. Then going forward, you want them to make suggestions for improvement. They might suggest changes to your price or changes to the actual product or the way it works, depending on what it is. Then you want to think about not necessarily making a sale, but hey, if a sale comes up, don't say no. But the whole objective is to generate feedback rather than go for a sale at this particular moment. Once you do that, you are now in a position to move forward. But there are 3 ways to collect this information, 3 mediums to use. And many times we go for the least best or the worst one, really. But we must go for the best one. So we're going to go now from good, better, best. The good way to do it, which is the least profitable way, is to do some kind of online survey. Either you send them an email, you use a form like a Google Forms or SurveyMonkey to gather information. But that's the worst way to do this. The better way is to call them up, do a telephone conversation, or you use a medium that allows you to see them on a screen like a Skype recording or Skype call of some sort. That's better than the online survey. But the best way is to see them in person. You want to see their eyeballs light up. You want to see them salivate when they see your product. You want to see the expression they have when they use the product or the service that you're trying to offer. So that's what you really want. That's the best way. That's the way I'm going to suggest that you go about getting the information. Because the objective, like I said earlier, is to generate feedback that you can use to create a market fit product. All right. Let's do a recap on what we've been talking about now under the subject of test as a 3rd step. Is to build a basic product, generate the necessary feedback, and use the best possible medium to gather this information and to create a market fit product. Okay, if you like this video, then like it. If you like it, share it. If you like it, comment about it. If you like it, feedback to me, please, on bumi@startyourownbusinessacademy.com. The telephone number is 07932 394620 UK. Until we come back to step 4, God bless. Welcome to step 4 of the step-by-step guide to starting a high-performance business. Hi there, my name is Bumi Toko. So in the last step, we looked at testing. Now in step 4, we're going to consider competition. Your competitors. I want to start up front by saying this. Do not be like some entrepreneurs that believe they have no competition whatsoever. That's just daft. Just understand that you either have direct competitors or indirect competitors. So if you're selling shoes, other shoe sellers are your direct competitors, but those selling trainers are your indirect competitors. Because somebody can choose to spend their money on buying a pair of shoes or to buy a pair of Nike. So that just depends on where they fall. Going on to the competitors, what kind of competitors are you supposed to study? I want to say this, that you should study 3 types of competitors. The first type of competitor to look at, and you can study just 1 or 2 in each category. So the first category of competitors to study are the competitors that are 15, 20 years ahead of you. They're like the market leaders of today. They're the Googles of today or the Facebook of today. They're just up there. You want to aim to get to that place in 10, 15, 20 years as well. So they're the market leaders of today. The second group of 1 or 2 competitors to study are those who are 10 years ahead of you. Maybe they're 7 to 10 years ahead of you. So they're your midway point. If you can just get there in 7 years' time, you'll be really happy. So those are the kind of competitors to look at. Just study 1 or 2 of them. And then the final group of competitor to study are the competitors that are 2 to 3 years ahead of you. So they basically just started 3 years ago. But they're doing so well, and you hope, my goodness, if I can just be there in 2 years doing what they're doing, I'll be considerably happy. So you want to look at those type of competitors. Those are the 3 competitors. Those who are 15, 20 years ahead of you, 7 to 10 years ahead of you, and 3 to 5 years ahead of you. All right. What exactly are you going to be studying about them? There's so many things you can study actually, but I want to propose that you study 3 distinct areas about your competitors. Number 1 is their product range. What types of products are they selling to that market? What's the range of products? Okay. The second area to consider is the way they market. How do they market towards that group? Are they more of an online marketing company, or are they marketing on and offline, or are they concentrating on offline marketing majorly and just 20% online? Are they selling from their website? Are they selling from other platforms? Well, what is their mode of delivering their products to the market? You want to study that. And the third area to look at is to study their pricing policy. What kind of prices do they sell? And how do they go about selling their products at particular pricing? For example, what I mean by that is, do you come in on a funnel where you get a free product, and then they try to sell you a $50 product, and then a $1,000 product, and then a $10,000 product? How do they manage the pricing policy? So you want to study those 3 areas. Number 1 is the product range, number 2 is the way they market, and number 3 is their pricing policy. Now, why are you doing all that? Remember, you've collected some information, some data from the group that you tested your product with. Now you've got data from your competitors. The whole point of this is to come up with 2 things at the end of the day. You want to come up with, number 1, you want to develop a much more robust profile on the type of client you're going to be selling to. So you want to develop a profile around how they are, where they purchase, how much they spend. You'll be able to find that from your tests and your competitors. And then finally, come up with exactly how you are now going to market to your niche. Using the data you collected from your competitors and using the data you collected from your tests, you are now ready to decide where and how you're going to market your own products. That's the exercise for you. Until we meet next time, when we talk about step 5, which is really exciting, it's about, now I'll tell you when I see you next. All right, speak to you soon. Welcome to step 5 of starting a high performance business. My name is Bumi Tokom. In this particular video, we're going to look at the subject of, and to help us to do that, we're going to consider it from 4 different sides. We're going to look at the first side, which will be why it's important to start selling now. We're going to look at the common objections that people have when it comes to selling at this stage. Thirdly, we're going to consider what you don't need to start selling, because people have an impression that you need a lot of things that really doesn't matter. And finally, I'm going to walk you through the process you can use to actually start generating your sales from now. All right, let's get started. When I talk about selling, this is what I mean. I'm not talking about selling 1 million units straight away, because with most businesses, it's going to be near impossible. But you can start making the first sale, the second sale, the 5th sale, the 100th sale, the first 1,000, whatever it is. But it doesn't mean that you're selling to the mass market yet. You're still focusing on your niche. But you got to start making some sales. So, why is it important to start selling at this particular stage? Well, there are 3 reasons why it's important to start selling at this stage. Number one reason is because you will come to know, understand, and appreciate that you have a viable product. You have a market fit product, or you have a problem fit product. The only way you're going to know that is when somebody is willing to put their hand in their pocket and pay for your product. That's the only way you're going to know that you have a viable product. The second reason why it's important to start selling now is because it's going to give you the confidence that you actually have the makings of a viable business. The only way you're going to know that is because somebody is willing to pay for your product. That's going to get you really excited. That's going to get you more passionate than you are even right now, that you have a business that can work. And the third reason why you want to start selling right now at this stage, step 5, is because it helps you to generate the feedback that you need to make the improvements necessary for your product to become better. It's so crucial that you get that feedback. And the only people that can give you the best type of feedback are the users of your product. And if you want your product to be one that generates money, you might as well start selling right now. We've covered why you need to start selling. Number 2 area we're going to look at is the common objection. There's one common objection that startup businesses have when I talk to them about start selling now. They say to me, Bumi, my product is not perfect. Guess what? You are right. Your product is not perfect. And your first few products or services are not going to be perfect. Yeah, I said that. Your first few products and services are not going to be perfect. That's life. You have to make improvements. And the only way you get a perfect product is to release the best product you can and then develop it as you go along. Can you believe that Google wasn't perfect when it first came out? Can you believe that the iPhone wasn't perfect when it first came out? No matter what it is, it was never perfect. Can you imagine that Dyson was not perfect when it first came out? Yeah, it was really good and it done some work, but it's been improved. When customers come back and feedback to you that, man, I love your product, but I wish it had this in it, or I wish it had that in it. That's the only way you're going to improve. So that common objection, you need to lay that to rest and know that you need to put out your product so that you can start generating some feedback. The next area to cover are the things you don't need. People think they need a fancy business card, a fancy website before they make their first sale. That's not true. You actually don't need those things. You need people who have the problem that you are able to solve and are willing to pay for your product. That's what you need. It could mean you have to find them by some landing page or something, but that's not a $1,000 website or a $10,000 website. You don't need a $10,000 website to make a $100 sale. You just need a 1 page or 2 page. When you meet clients that you are solving problems for, they're more willing to pay for the solution than to consider what you don't have. So you don't need no fancy stuff. You just really need the basics because you're going to improve all that anyway. So let me walk you through the process you're going to use. Remember in step 2, we talked about having a niche. Now, this is where it now comes to play. You've been talking to your niche, presenting yourself to them. So you already have a crop of people that are willing and interested in your product anyway. Also, you consider the competitors. By now, you should have a profile of who your ideal customer is. All you need to do is get on the phone or write an email introducing yourself, introducing your product, telling them what your product can do to solve their problems, and then asking them to make a purchase. You might do an introductory offer. Or another way to do this is you could go on a platform that sells similar products and put your products there and let their engine and their machinery help you to start making your first sale. Whatever you need to do, you need to start making your first sale because you need some feedback to take you over to the next level. Alright, I know we've covered a lot today, but it's really good. It's important that we cover this because we're going to go on to step 6. Let me recap on what we've covered. All right then, I'll see you in video 6. Welcome to step 6 of starting a high performance business. Hi there, my name is Bumi Tokon. In the last video, we looked at the concept of starting to sell your products now. So you've done that. So you've sold some product, either 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 20, 100 or 1,000 products. Now you're in a position to begin to tweak that product. That's what we're going to talk about today. So in this step 6, we're going to focus on tweak your product or service. And we're going to borrow the work of Eric Ries that talked about the minimum viable product, and using this loop of Eric's to determine how we can tweak and improve our existing product. Remember that once you've sold products to a particular group of people, they are going to be willing to feed back to you because these are your early adopters. So they're going to be willing to give you feedback. We're going to get loads of feedback from this group of people. All right? Remember, the first product you built was your minimum viable product, or your MVP. It's not your perfect product yet, but it was able to sell simply because it solved some problems. So going on from now, how do you then improve on that existing minimum viable product? You can do that by building upon what you've learned from your customers, i.e. your customer feedback, what you've learned from competitors, and the results of your initial tests. Then you're going to work on what I call, or what Eric called, measuring. He said, you know what, you need to measure the response that you received from your clients or your customers. And we can do that by maybe split testing the services. By split test, I mean, if your product is geared towards the 35 to 50-year-old, you might decide that, okay, you're going to do a test. You're going to give this particular color to the under 40s, and you're going to give this red color to the over 40s, and then see what kind of response you get, whether the color made a difference, or the height made a difference, or the size made a difference. Or you could actually test, depending on the product you're launching, you could test by search engine marketing, or how well your product is used, the usability of it. But you're measuring all this. You're measuring the data. You're really going out to get data that you can measure and learn from. So that's when we come to the learn part. But then again, we ask ourselves, how can I learn a little bit more? Well, I can learn by interviews. I can learn by observing the behavior of my clients when they see, use, or engage with my product. And I can ask the 5 whys. The 5 whys, I learned this from Eric, and it was quite interesting. It means that if you ask your client, why did you like our product? And they go, well, I like it because of the color. Okay, why did you like the color? Well, my favorite color is blue. Why is your favorite color blue? Oh, it reminds me of... So you're asking these whys that probably you might end up with the real reason that you want once you've asked 5 of these whys. So you are constantly building, measuring, learning, putting out your product, then you're measuring again, you're learning, and you're building. And as you go around this loop, you're going to be coming up with a near perfect product for your clients. So that's what we need to do in step 6. I'll see you in step 7. But before you go, if you like this video, then like it. If you like it, comment about it. If you like it, please share it. Talk to you soon. 5-section business plan. And you've done all the hard work. So now all you need to do is document all the information you've received over the past few weeks. You've been working on the 6 other steps. So the first part of the business plan is the executive summary. We're going to leave that till the last. We'll talk about that as the last point. The second part, which is what you should document first, is your marketing plan. That's when you talk about all the tests you've carried out, the competitors that you've looked at, the information you've gathered from your customers, and how you're going to market your product, where you're going to work from, and all the kind of marketing related issues that you've discovered. The third part is the operations. So how is this business really now going to work? Who are the ones going to help you to manage the business? Are you going to have a LLC, or are you going to have a sole proprietorship, or are you going to have a limited company in the UK or a sole trader in the UK? Or are you going to set up a limited by guarantee, which is what you can use for a third sector or a social enterprise company? So you're going to document all that. How many courses are you going to go on? When are you going to start? How much is it going to cost? What kind of insurances do you need? All that will be in the operations. Now, the fourth part of it is your financials. Your financials are so important. You need a cash flow forecast that is going to document how much your marketing plan will cost and your operations. And you're going to take that into a month by month cash flow forecast, looking at your income and your expenses for each of the months, let's say for a period of 12 months. So that's your financial plan done. Next thing is your appendices. You need to include in your appendices your CV, or what the Americans call resume, and also you need to have in there your letters of recommendation and letters of intent. So those 3 things are very important for you to have in your appendices. Particularly, this type of business plan I'm giving you can be used to raise money. So you want to include your CV or resume and your letters of recommendation. If you don't have letters of intent, or this is your first business you're working on, a letter of recommendation from your workplace that says that, hey, this guy is very committed, very loyal, extremely hardworking, is good for you to have there, particularly if you're going to investors. And then you need to have letters of intent. Letters of intent are letters that people have written for you that says, hey, if you start the business, we'll definitely purchase so many units or whatever. So you want to include those there. Now let's go back to the executive summary. The executive summary is a summary of your marketing plan, the operations plan, and your financial plan. That's what it is. So that's why I said let's write it last. You should cover your background, your niche, the market you're going for, the amount of money you need, how much profit you're going to make, and do that in a very interesting manner. I would suggest to you that the whole plan could be a 10-page plan or a 15-page plan. But absolutely definitely do not write your executive summary longer than 2 pages. That's what people are going to read first, because it summarizes every activity you're going to pursue in your business plan. So I really hope that you enjoyed, as I've done, the 7-step guide to starting a high-performance business. I'm going to be talking a little bit more about this. So please share the video, like the video, comment about the video, and I'll see you soon. If you have any questions, just email me. My email is Bumi, that's Bravo Oscar Oscar Mike Yankee, at startyourownbusinessacademy.com. Bumi at startyourownbusinessacademy.com. If you want the cash flow forecast, then you're going to have to email me for it. I'll see you soon, and stay blessed.